Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan here, back with you again at Boyles of Killorglin. And I'm kind of taking it easy a little bit here by the daffodil bulbs.
Where is the coffee?
It's not going to be for long though, is it? It's not going to be for long, Miguel.
No.
Miguel, how are we doing?
We are okay.
You're all right?
Okay, yeah. How are you?
I'm okay, I'm all right. With this weather changing now, it's a little bit upsetting, but you know, it's all part of the cycle of life, I suppose.
Winter is coming.
Yeah. And we don't want to sound too scary like they did in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the days are shorter.
Yeah.
We're in September.
Getting cooler.
Back to school.
Getting cooler.
Yeah, getting cooler. So here we are. There's nothing we can do about it.
Nothing we can do.
Unless we have a private jet and we go following the summer. You know?
It's that'd be an ideal world. An ideal world.
Case.
But listen, we love to plan on this show, and we know you love planning, and September is the ideal time to plan for the spring and spring flowering. So today we're down here by the bulbs, and we are going to be talking about planting bulbs this time of year.
So a few things. First of all, it will give you a time frame here in the boxes, in the packaging. The sooner, the better. All right, we'll go through that later. But it's better planting the daffodils, for example, in September. We'll go through the tulips later.
Okay.
The good thing, what I wanted to start with, is that we can have flowers with spring bulbs from as early as December till as late as August.
Okay,
right?
wow, that's a great span.
So they are good for combining. They are good for clusters. Get good for plenty of things, but good for containers. There's plenty of people that do them in containers. But see, I'm going to explain you a little bit the difference between the different daffodils, okay? Different varieties of daffodils that, for example, the
Ringevel's early sensation. Yeah.
And see here, you planting in September, you have December.
Flowering January. Okay.
So you can have daffodils in
very
December.
Soon. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are very popular. Like obviously the yellow color, the brightness, they come up. They're usually, we used to see them as a sign of spring, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Now you're able to plant them and have them come up in December.
You can have them till December, till the end of May, early June, depending on the variety. So if you like them and you want to have a constant nearly for 6 or 7 months, you should buy different varieties. If you're planning to combine different flowering bulbs, different type, different plants, you can pick the ones you like, the ones that are more favorable for your purposes. Anyway, most of them, they should be flowering in March, right?
Okay.
But you have them in February. So you have them December, January, then you have in February. No, that's in April.
That's April. Okay, well that was the next one you were due
February,
to find.
And then you have plenty of March, and then you have in April, which will be the last month, April. But you have in mind that they won't. If they start in April, they won't die 2nd of April. So they will be flowering for a month, month and a half.
For a month and a half, yeah.
Yeah, depending on the conditions, but they flower.
Okay.
So, daffodils. But then you have, obviously, different ones, different bulbs. Hyacinths. So what you have to do is checking. Many people ask me things or ask us things that are in the packaging.
Yeah.
When, how deep, when will it flower?
That could be just a real Irish thing, because I think we do that anyway.
It's all right.
Just for a bit of conversation, we'll ask, even though it's written on the
hyacinth, Spanish bluebells or Scottish bluebells will be flowering for 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So you'll have them from March till June. So then you have the iris that they will be flowering till as long as August.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you can combine different ones. Follow the instructions. The depth.
Yeah.
That's very important.
So that's good. So first of all, we're highlighting when to plant when they will flower. Okay.
Well, it's one exception. Okay. They all should be planted now in September. What happens if you wait? If you plant too late or at the end, if you will plant, if you sow them or whatever, at the end of the
window,
time frame, they will be later, and they will be most probably smaller flowers.
Smaller, okay.
What happens if you go too late? if it's telling you September, November, and you have something in December. It's better planting it late than storing them. Storing them, it won't be good.
Right.
So what happens if you plant them late?
Well, what would you do if you think you missed the window? You'd store them until what?
You plant
year?
them. Yeah, that's the thing.
So would people do that?
People tend. Some people do that. Those bulbs will be useless. Next year they won't be sprouting.
Won't be good. Yeah. So get them in the ground.
Get it in the ground even if it's late.
Yeah.
What you will have is foliage.
Yeah.
Or small flowers at the end of the
flowering
Just very small flowers. You could have something bigger.
Yeah.
But normally you could expect only foliage. But they will be there for next year. Okay. So we go to planting late, planting too deep. What happens if you plant too deep? It's more or less the same.
Yeah.
And if you plant too late.
Yeah.
They have to apply loads of resources to get out. And then they most probably won't flower, won't have foliage.
Yeah.
Next year will happen the same. So it's better removing them if you plant them too deep.
Too deep.
It's no problem if you plant them too late.
Yeah.
Okay?
But the signs, as you said, the signs that you planted them too deep would be, just foliage taking a long time to kind of come up, so they're late coming up and things like that.
You will, let's say you plant daffodils and you plant them too late, and you're expecting them to flower in February or March, let's say March, and in March they're barely the foliage breaking through. That's a sign. That's what I'm saying. It's very important to read the labels. You have bulb planters.
Yeah, so we have for our listeners on the radio, we have two little kind of tools here, which are very handy.
We have two tools.
One of the and that's just not us. I saw what you did there. But yeah, so the one you have there now is great because it has the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch marker. Okay, so what's the average depth for most of these bulbs?
Normally, the size of the bulb will be telling you is 2-3 times the height of the bulb.
So you put them between your thumb and your first finger there.
Yeah, get a measuring tape and do 3 times, and that's enough. That's the golden rule. That's the rule of thumb. What happens if you plant them too shallow?
Yes.
That's the opposite. They will be very leggy
and
the roots won't be taken over and not well established, and you will probably have bending flowers if you have.
Okay.
So it's very important following the rules. It's not difficult. Just go. It's not necessarily it needs to be exactly. Not that 3 times. It will be 2-3 times.
Yeah, but you're giving the bulb a better chance if you can get as close as you can, because like you said, the more energy, the deeper it is, the more energy it's going to use, and that's not going to be put through to the flowering.
You have that energy is all stored in the bulb.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So till they flower, till they start feeding from the leaves, that bulb is what is maintaining the plant. And then initially it starts sprouting, then it starts the roots, but they have a reservoir here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Tulips are different for a reason in Ireland. All right, in Ireland, other places you don't need to do this. You don't need to do in Ireland either.
Would it be something to do with our weather?
Probably yes.
Of course it is.
It's recommendable planting them in late autumn before the first frost, but not very early, because I think we have talked about this sometimes. The tulip fire is called. It's a fungus. Is because of the humidity of the ground.
Okay.
And if we have a very wet summer, well, the bulbs. So you remember these fellas are flowering in April.
Yeah.
Then the whole summer, it's just the bulb.
Yeah.
Remember, if you want to remove bulbs, you need the plant to wilt completely before remove them.
Okay.
So, normally, let's say in Killorglin roundabouts, they have tulips, they won't remove them. They, as far as I have seen, they've been coming for 3 years.
Right, well.
So,
a well-drained area maybe? And
I'm not sure, but I see them every winter, every early spring, and I don't know anyone that removes them. So you leave them on the ground. If everything goes good, they spread like other plants. We're going to go through these, okay? So we have the depth, we have the shallow, the depth, we have the flowers. How many flowers can we expect? That's another very common question.
Yeah.
You should expect 1 flower per bulb, excepting crocus.
Okay.
Crocus, depending on the size of the bulb, you could have a few flowers. The bigger the bulb.
Crocus are a real beautiful favourite for a lot of people, and we have here a pack of 10. So they are kind of quite small, the bulbs, but even in that small little bulb, you're saying you could get a few flowers?
You could get a few flowers if it was a bigger bulb. See, there's two different bulbs here.
Yeah.
Two bigger ones. The bigger ones will have more flowers than the small ones.
Okay. Right.
That's
great.
a curious thing that everybody. So you could expect one flower in most of them, only one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and this says, just to keep them 5 to 10 centimeters apart.
See, they give you instructions.
All the instructions is on here.
They will tell you how high they will grow.
Yeah.
What situation do they need? So
half shade. Yeah. It says that they're scented.
And it's not
and
edible.
there's a big deer here in the top
So
left-hand corner, so they like it.
They like it.
So
it's not alive.
It's not
crossed.
It's not crossed.
It's not
so
crossed.
that's a big thing, because I know a lot of people who would be living in areas close to where the deer are in the south parts of the county, that would be something to take into consideration
Crocus
as well.
Rats love them as well.
Rats love them.
Rats love them.
Okay.
They won't eat daffodils. They probably eat toxic.
Yeah.
But they like crocus.
Okay.
They like crocus.
Surround your crocus with a load of daffodils, you might be okay.
So what else? What else about them? Food.
Yes.
They don't need food. If you have them in pots, you should feed them when they are not the first year, the second year. When they are growing, you can do a slow release, or you can do some gently. You can feed them the second year on the ground, top dressing with some new compost or something.
The nutrients will kind of go into them then.
But not necessarily.
Okay.
If they are combined with other plants in your garden, then you should feed them.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if there is annuals around, they do very well with
the
pansies.
obvious reason being the other plants will be also taking from the same nutrients.
More things. How they reproduce. Well, one more thing before I forget. We have two different type of bluebells.
Bluebells, yeah.
We have the Spanish bluebells and the native Scottish bluebells. Right?
Which one's your favorite?
Actually, the Scottish bluebells.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for your home.
Well, no, actually, I like the native ones.
If you actually look at them, and I'm sure our listeners might not get the full benefit of this, but with the Spanish ones, it's kind of just like one, and it's like a dainty, slim stem.
It's different. It's not easy to make a difference on them.
Yeah.
But the Scottish ones have them together.
Yeah, the Scottish ones they seem to have more bulbs and more.
They are
flowers.
darker blue, while the Spanish are lighter blue.
Okay.
The native ones are lightly scented, while the Spanish ones are not scented.
Okay.
The bad part is that the Spanish ones, we are more vigorous.
Ah, sure, of course you are. We knew that from history, so it is. Yeah.
They mix when they are together. They interbreed, and they produce different, like a mixture of
bluebell babies.
Exactly.
Bluebell babies, Scottish.
Those are very good for woodlands.
Woodland areas,
shady areas. They will take over. They will give you
around trees.
Around trees in shady areas. Very nice place. Very nice things.
Yeah.
And
the varieties are huge. There is loads here, and that's great to kind of come in and
we have
the quantities.
Every size. We're showing a little bit of.
This is just a small sample of it, exactly.
You see, we have here unbelievable tulips, like fringe tulips in orange, in red, in white. Unbelievable different things in black.
Brisbane, wow. That is very different. That's a very different kind of tulip as well too. It's kind of got jagged. It's kind of got jagged kind of leaves. So there's always new ones coming in to a lot of the garden centres, isn't there?
Before I forget, the way they reproduce is they create bulbs, small bulbs around, and they start when these bulbs are big enough, they start flowering.
Okay.
So eventually should do like daffodils. When you see that they spread, they should all spread excepting a few ones,
Okay.
But the problem with the tulips, always tulips, is they need a couple years to start.
Yes, to kind of establish themselves and get their roots and stuff. So
these little bulbs.
So the first year might be great. You might get a great thing off the first year, but the second and third
year you could have only one. Again, but those little bulbs are forming
underneath.
They won't start forming till this first full year has happened, has gone.
Yeah.
Problem with the tulips again is the wetness, but all the rest they should spread. So have it in mind when you find a place for them.
Yeah.
That they will eventually
have a
full spread.
Cover all
You can clear. Is recommendable when they pack too much.
Pack too much, yeah.
Then you can just spread
them out.
Get them out.
Yeah.
Get them out in August, May, June, July.
So before everything's died down and before
when everything is died down, the foliage is died down. Wait for a couple of weeks, then you can remove them and plant them somewhere else, or give them to your friends if you have 2 million.
A load of them, And with all the big bags that are available in all of your garden centres, it's quite possible. Listen, Miguel, that's great. It's lovely to know that right now we can be planning for some beautiful weather and some beautiful flowering, even in December, lads. It's great to hear. So thanks very much, Miguel, for all your information. And remember, get into your garden centre and look at the back of the labels. Yeah. You could plan the perfect garden. Miguel, thank you so much for your time and expertise. That's it for this week. Until next time, happy gardening.